So we're going to talk about the unexplored Earth. And that means that, there's parts in the world that we haven't yet seen, that we haven't yet visited. And maybe the reason we haven't visited it because it's just too dangerous to go there. It's not possible, maybe. So we want to look at these parts of the world that are unexplored, that not many people know, not many people can go there. Not many people, it's not safe. It's probably dangerous. So let's have a look at those parts of the world in this lesson. So we could see that I've got some places. We're going to listen to an audio. But first, let me tell you about the places. So the Atlantic Ocean. So you could see in this place that it's impossible to go there. You can see that there's not many people there. There's not buildings and homes and, roads. It's just very nature. It's the way that the Earth is naturally, and it's an unexplored place. We know Antarctica, that's on the bottom of the Earth. And it's a place, again, it's unexplored. It's impossible to go there because it's all ice. Then we have a mountain. We have these ones, which is Mount Dinpernallison. In South America, there's a lot of places that are unexplored. Okay, so this is a place in South America, and forest areas. So that's what we mean when we say unexplored places. Okay, it's just nature, the way it's meant to be, untouched. Untouched means, that humans haven't come in and, destroyed and built and, so they're unexplored. So some other places are like Mount Everest and Greenland. You would have heard of Mount Everest. A lot of people, they try to climb it. And Greenland is another amazing place in the Northern Hemisphere that's not many people have been to or traveled to. And we see these places maybe on documentaries and TV. Maybe we read about them in magazines. But people are interested to know about them because there's always something that's interesting, the history of it, and how it's changed, or, something about the place that's very, very interesting. So unexplored places. Okay, so let's listen to a radio program about 5 unexplored places. Thank you. And let's answer some questions about those 5 places. Okay, so I'm going to play the audio. And you can see these are the 5 places here. The Black Hole of Andros, Lake Vostok, Mount Dinpernallison, the Maroon Mountains, and the Foja Mountains. Okay, so listen and answer questions about these 5 unexplored places. Okay, thank you.
Track 112.
We often think that humans have been everywhere on the Earth. We've crossed deserts, and we've been to the bottom of oceans. And as for mountains, about 500 people climb to the top of Mount Everest every year. So, is there anything left? Well, if you're an explorer who's looking for new places to explore, here are my top 5 unexplored places. Good luck! First of all, there are 2 lakes. The Black Hole of Andros is in the Bahamas in the Atlantic Ocean. The water temperature is 36 degrees Celsius, and it is very dark, so it's difficult to see what's in there. And my second lake is Lake Vostok in Antarctica. Lake Vostok is 14,000 square kilometers and freezing cold. Unfortunately, it's been under a sheet of ice for 15 million years. The ice is 3.7 kilometers deep, so it's impossible to get to, though scientists have taken water from it. If you're a climber, there are lots of mountains in the world that nobody has climbed yet. For example, there's Mount Dimpanalasan in the east of the Himalayan mountains. It's 6,135 meters high. Or you could explore the Merimee Mountains in Guyana in South America. But they are at the end of the 500-kilometer-long Matsuruni River. So that's one for someone who also likes boats and maybe swimming. It's one of the most dangerous rivers in the world. Then there are also the Foja Mountains in a forest of Papua New Guinea. The forest is 8,100 square kilometers, and the bad news is there are no maps of the region, so you'll have to make one while you're there.
So these were the 5 places that we heard in the audio. So as I said, the first one was the black hole of Andros, which was in the Atlantic Ocean. So this place is called the black hole of Andros. Now remember, for names of places, we put capital letters. So the black hole, for short words like this, you don't have to, of Andros. So we know that in the Bahamas, where is it located? In the Bahamas, in the Atlantic Ocean. And the water is 36 degrees Celsius. That's the temperature of our first place. The hole is very dark, so it's difficult to see what is in there. Okay, so that was one of our first unexplored places in the world, the black hole of Andros. The second place, Lake Vostok. So this was here, Lake Vostok, which is in Antarctica. Okay, so this place is called Lake Vostok. It is in Antarctica. And it's 4,000 square kilometers. So 4,000 square kilometers. So remember your symbols that we have, the degrees Celsius, square kilometers. So that means the distance from this place to this place is 4,000 square kilometers, the distance of the land. And the ice is 3.7 kilometers deep. So you can't get there. That's why it's an unexplored place. It's not easy to get there. It's very dangerous. The ice is 3.7 kilometers deep, all the way down to the ground. So if there's an accident and you fall, you will die. Then we had Mount Dimpanalasan. So it's a mountain. So usually we can say the name of the mountain by saying Mount Dimpanalasan. And it is in the east of the Himalayas mountains. The Himalayan mountains. So the east part of these mountains. So this area here is in the east part of the Himalayan mountains. And what do we know? It's 6,135 meters high. So that's how high it is. 6,135 meters high. Nobody has ever climbed it. No one has ever climbed this mountain. Okay, it's impossible. Okay, or it's a very dangerous mountain to climb. The fourth mountain, which I said was in South America, this one was called the Marium Mountains. And the Marium Mountains are in Guyana, which is in South America. At the end of 500 kilometers, at the end of the 500 kilometers long Marazuri River. Okay, so you can find this mountain at the end of a very, very long river, of a 500-kilometer river. And it is one of the most dangerous rivers in the world. Then we had the Foja Mountains. And the Foja Mountains, so you can see for names of places, always capitalize it. It's in a forest in on the island of New Guinea. So in Papua New Guinea, which is next to Australia. So it's a forest area which is in Papua New Guinea. And the forest is 8,100 square kilometers long. So the distance of all this forest is this distance. There are no maps of the region because we just haven't been able to go there and, see it properly, measure it completely. It's just too large of a forest. Okay, so those were some unexplored places of the world. So we know that which ones are in water. For number 6, the ones that are in sea, we've got the Lake Vostok. That's in water, okay, in the ocean. Another one that's in the water is the black hole of Andros. So you got 2 lakes, which the part of the world which is the sea. Because, in the world, you've got sea and you've got land. So these 2 are 2 places that are on the water. And the ones that are on land, well, the mountain, Mount Dipernellison, the Marium Mountains, and the Foja Mountains. These 3 places are on land. So some vocab, if you have water, as I said, the first 2 lakes, that's where we find them. Land, we've got the last 3 places that we find on land. So some other vocab for sea, or to do with water, we could say a lake, an ocean, and a river. Okay, so they are areas of water. And your areas of land will be forests and mountains. Okay, so there's a difference between a lake, an ocean, a river. You can have some other types of water areas. A lagoon. What's number 6? Iceland? Land? Or is it water? I would think it's maybe water. Iceland. So an unexplored place, which is from my country, Australia, is the Daintree rainforest. Okay, and it is one of the largest rainforests in Australia and one of the oldest continuous rainforest in the world. So that means that it's continuing to be like a rainforest. Okay, it's not dead. There's a lot of life that is there. So it's a continuous rainforest in the world. It is over 135 million years old. And the forest covers 1,200 square kilometers of land. There are a variety of different types of land, the way that, you know, with the landforms and diverse landscapes from beaches, gorges, rivers, waterfalls, mountains. So you can see how diverse, that means like a lot of different. The river, it cuts through several valleys and begins at an elevation, that's how high it is, 1,270 meters. The highest part of the mountain there is 1,374. So it begins already like here, and then it goes up to this much. You can find 65% of Australians' bats, butterfly species, frogs, marsupials, reptiles. In the winter, the average temperature is 26 degrees. So that's not bad, very warm. And at night, the temperature drops significantly. That means the temperature goes down a lot. And in summer, the average temperature, it's about 32 degrees. Okay, so that was an unexplored place from my country in Australia. And as I said, there are so many unexplored places around the world. So why did we want to talk about unexplored places? Because we want to look at using our definite article. So the definite article is the word the. And sometimes we need to put the word the in front of nouns, and sometimes we don't. So when do we need to use it? So the article, okay, we need to use it when we say the name of a river. So for example, the Amazon River, the River Nile, okay, you have to say the and then the name of the river. If you're talking about an island, so the Bahamas, that's the Caribbean islands. If you're saying oceans and seas, so the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean. If I say a mountain, but it's plural, then I need to have an S. So the Murium Mountains. If I have words in my country like state, kingdom, or republic, then I need to say the. So for example, the United States of America, the United Kingdom, the Republic of whatever country. So we need to use the definite article the when we have these words in the country. If the place has east or west, we need to say the. So for example, I don't have an example. The West Bank in Israel. So you say the West Bank. Or the Far East If you have names of deserts, if you're talking about a desert, you need to say the Sahara Desert. If you're saying the moon, so you say the moon looks great tonight. The moon is so bright. You need to say the moon. If you have a country and it's plural, it has the S. You need to say the. So for example, the Bahamas, the Maldives. If you have north, east, south, west part of a place, so the northern part of Australia, we live in the southern part of Australia, so I need to say the. If you have tower, you need to say the. So the Eiffel Tower. If you have union, you need to have the. So union was I don't have an example. Okay, so when do we not use the? We don't need to put the when we talk about cities and towns. So for example, I live in Adelaide. I don't say in the Adelaide. I live in Adelaide. You should visit Melbourne. If I'm talking about a country, I live in Australia. So I don't say the Australia. If I say states in a country, so for example, South Australia, next year I'm going to Victoria. Next month I'm going to New South Wales. So when I talk about the states, the part of a country, then I don't need to say the. If I talk about roads and streets, I don't say the. So for example, let's meet on McGill Road. I live on Guja Street, for example. If you have a mountain, but it's not plural, so for example, Mount Everest, one day I would love to go to Mount Everest. So I don't say the. If I have lakes, I don't say the. So lake, whatever the name of the place is, Salt Lake. So in Kangaroo Island, there's a beautiful lake called Salt Lake. Continents. So you know how the world has parts? So Australia is a continent, America is a continent, Africa is a continent, Asia is a continent. We don't say the. And if you talk about beaches, you don't say the. So for example, let's go to Henley Beach. Yesterday, I was at Glenelg Beach. So I do not say the. Okay, so number 8, let's look at some examples. We say the Bahamas. Number 2, we don't put the, so it's just Mount Kilimanjaro. So number 2, we do not say the, we just say Mount, because it's singular, Mount Kilimanjaro. Number 3, we need to say the, because it's an ocean, the Pacific Ocean. And make sure you put all the words in capital, the start of the word. Okay, the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. Africa is a continent, so we don't say the Africa, we just say Africa. The River Nile, so it's a river, so the River Nile. Okay, the River Nile, which is in Africa. The Maroon Mountains. So plural, the mountain name is plural. We can see the S, so we need to say the. We can also, Peru is a country, so we don't say the Peru or the Chile. We just say, one day I want to go to Peru. And if we have a lake Titicaca. I'm not sure how to say that. We just say Lake Titicaca. Okay, so let's look at a photo of an ancient map. So ancient means old. This was a photo of the world a long, long time ago. So you can see it here. And we've got some writing. Let's see if we are going to need to put the word the or not the. Okay, let's read it together. So we had an ancient map, which is just like an old map. And it says this map of the earth. So this map of the earth is from the 12th century. At the time, the king of Sicily, now we don't need the because Sicily is a country. So the king of Sicily wanted a map of the countries around. We need to say the because remember the name of seas, the Mediterranean Sea. So we need to put the. He paid a man called Al-Idrisi to make a map. Al-Idrisi was from Morocco, but he lived in Spain. Al-Idrisi interviewed thousands of travelers for information about the sea and the continents, including Arabia. Now, we need to put the Middle East, because remember any countries that have the word East, including the Middle East. And remember, Morocco is a country, so we don't need to say the Morocco. Including the Middle East. And Asia. Asia is a continent. We don't need to say the Asia, just and Asia. The map is difficult to understand because old maps used to put south at the top and north at the bottom. So this map shows it's a continent, so we don't need to say the, it just shows North Africa at the top, and Europe, we don't need to say the because it's a continent, and Europe at the bottom. Okay, so think of a place, maybe it's an ocean, a continent, a sea, a desert, a river, or a mountain, and tell us about it. Okay, so we're talking about parts of the world, and we want to hear some information about it. So let's read some examples. So for example, so try and pick one that is not already someone else picked. Okay. Okay, so you could see Edward picked this place and he said, "Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about the Arctic Ocean. It's the smallest and shallowest ocean in the world, known for its seasonally varying sea ice extent. It is located in the Northern Hemisphere, surrounded by countries such as Canada, Greenland, Norway, and Russia. The Southern Ocean has a wide variety of marine life. You can especially see seals and polar bears there." Okay, so pick a place, write it in a very simple way. Do not copy it off the internet, write it in a very simple way. Give us some information about its measurements. You know, what can we see there? I'll just give you another example. Dickerson says he's going to tell us about the Euphrates River. Okay, the river is located in Asia, to be exact, in West Asia, and is the largest river there. It begins in Turkey and flows through the Anatolian mountains all the way to Syria and then to Iraq. Its length is 300 kilometers. Okay, It suffered due to climate change, which means now its flow of water is slow. So we must take care to not destroy the last of this river. The Euphrates River also has a relationship with the ancient city Babylon, now modern-day Iraq. The river dried up, and that's why it was considered a symbol of oppression. Okay, so pick these places, something different, and write about it. We'll read it. And remembering that these places are unexplored places, what we spoke before, but it could be, you know, a place that is explored. So the Mediterranean Sea, it could be a continent like Africa, Asia, a sea, an ocean, a desert, the Sahara Desert. You can pick a river or a mountain. Okay, and always give details about the place, maybe a bit of history. Where is it in the world? You know, show that you know where is it located. What's some interesting facts about it?